Welcome back, and now we have a full house here of experts to tell you how to tackle the trading day, as well as, of course, get some investment ideas as well going. As Sonia just said, Mr. Tulsian, Prakash Diwan, Siddharth Bhambre and Shubham Agarwal are all with us. Good morning to all of you gentlemen. Let me start with the technicals first. If Shubham is with us, okay, I think we have to reconnect with Shubham. There's a technical issue there. Siddharth, all right. Okay, we'll sort out those issues in a bit. Mr. Tulsian, let me start with you, closer home. What's the sense you got with the results yesterday? Was there any standout performance?
Say standout performance as such can only be set for the Adani Port, United Spirit, Capital First, E-Clarks, and maybe some one or two smaller one, like maybe the I in fact like Brigade Enterprise also. So these are the good positive surprises. And on the smaller one we have Premco Global or maybe SNL Bearings, but they are very small stocks, with a market cap of about 30-40 crore. So these are these have really attracted my attention from the yesterday's stable of results which have.
United Spirits would be a buy for you.
Yes, that's a buy for me. Because if you really see the margin expansion, I'm not taking the extraordinary income which they've made on the United Brewery sale of shares, but apart from that, the core business, has been improving, and the margin that has been very good. In fact, if you see the operating profit, 293 crore against 177 crores on a sequential basis, practically on the constant top line of about 2100 crore. It was 2000 crore in Q1 and now it has increased to 2100 crore in this quarter. So there is a sharp increase in the end. So you started having that comfort that now the UB effect has gone away, the DAGO expertise has started coming into the company, and probably this can be the results which can be taken or which can be relied upon, that yes, from here on the company will not have any dip. Because actually the two things, one, cut on the advertisement spending, and second, control on the raw material cost. Two things are very important if you want to see the sustainable margins, and that is both the things are existing here. They have raw material cost control as well as the cut on the ad spend also, and in spite of that they've increased the margin. Yeah.
Oh yes, and they've also managed to reduce their debt and reduce their interest costs.
That's
so
also, in fact, interest cost reduction is a very positive. You are right. In fact, 110 crore is the interest against 128 crore. And if you really see the financials, because we get to see the financials, Sonia is right in with Q2. The debt positions have vastly, because obviously 900 crore gain and the sale proceeds, so they are taking the right steps. They are exiting from the non-core business, because otherwise earlier it was all the baggage for the UB Group company, to remain invested in UB Group, but now that's not the situation here.
Okay, so that stock will be on an up move today. Let's invite Prakash Diwan as well. He's back from a very interesting trip that he made to China, where he did visit a lot of the dealers, the auto dealers there from JLR. So Prakash, I'm most interested to hear what the key takeaway was. Are they as worried about the fall in the Chinese market as we are?
No, in fact, they attribute that fall to a very natural process of consolidation. The reason why JLR struggled out there was they were not able to manufacture a lot of these models. And the Chinese market is very young, the ones that go for Jaguar and for the Land Rover models. So with the Discovery Sport that they are now manufacturing locally, they are extremely bullish. So there was this whole festive mood after the New Year. The Chinese New Year just got over in October, and people have a lot of money to spend. So they were very keen that they leverage that. And then this whole announcement that has happened yesterday, I'm sure is going to take things to a different, the Messi ambassadorship.
Oh yes, Lionel Messi, yes.
And I think so if you look at, but Jaguar is finding it extremely tough, because the Audi, BMW, the Mercs they rule the roost. So every third car is an Audi. So I don't know what happens to the Volkswagen debacle there. In fact, they were not very worried as yet about those emission issues and all. But JLR is yet to really be a stamp out there, in terms. So there's a huge headroom for growth if you look at it positively, if things go well. But as of now, it's not such a significant play on the ground.
Okay, we'll come back to you with more questions offline as well. Let me get the technicals discussion getting started. Shubham Agarwal's now connected. Shubham, good morning. How would you trade the Nifty today? It's 6 continuous days of fall. Logically, the 7th day should be an uptick.
Right. Hi, good morning, Lata. Last time when we discussed that, Nifty is in a phase of an exhaustion and, 8,000 is what we were expecting, which has already happened. Now, given the fact that, we have option congestion around the level of 8,000 and the short-term indicators are suggesting that there should be a temporary pullback which should take place. So I think, before we see further lower levels, there should be a pullback which should come into action. Yesterday we did see a doji getting formed on the daily chart. So, combining all of these studies, we believe that the reward to risk is favorable to go on with a long trade. But we don't have big targets there, so roughly around 8250 to 8300 is what we are expecting on a short-term scale, and 7980 is a very important support now which can be taken as a stop loss. So I think post this temporary up move, the downtrend should again resume, because the medium-term models are not supporting a view of going long. It is just a temporary build-up that we are seeing which can take place. So overall we believe 7800 is the level which should come on Nifty, but before that happens 8250 can get retested, and that is why we are recommending that with a stop loss of 7980 one can look to go long on the Nifty for that target.
Okay, fine. Keep a stop loss at 7980 and go long on the Nifty. That's the strategy on the index. But Mr. Tulsian, you have a bunch of very interesting stocks that you've picked out for us. I haven't heard of this, although it is in the space that I track. Haritha Seatings. What does the company do?
See, Sonia, this is a TVS Group company, and they are providing seating solutions. In fact, they are providing seats to all passenger vehicles, buses, trucks, tractors. And in fact, there are only two listed companies, Bharat Seats and this Haritha Seating. The prominent player I'm talking in the listed one. Bharat Seats largely cater to the Maruti owned vehicles and all that. But this company, they have pan-India 5 plants. And in fact, what I liked yesterday, they've declared their Q2 numbers. They've sold their one of the plant in Himachal Pradesh, on which they were losing money. In Q2 of this FY16, the results which were declared yesterday, they incurred a loss of 36 lakhs. So by selling this unit on a slump basis, the company made a gain of 4.5 crore. That means what I liked is that companies very swiftly take the decision, if it is a loss making, let me get out of that. 4.5 crore is the gain. They may have realized maybe 5 crore as an investment cost, so they may have realized 8 to 10 crores and have curtailed the losses also about 1.5 crore. And now if I go by the working of the company, it's a 300 crore top line company, and if you see the normal EPS for H1 is about 7 rupees, though it is closer to 10, but including that exceptional income of 4.5 crore which I referred for this one. This is one part. Second part, they have a 51% subsidiary with German company Haritha Ferrer, which is providing the polyurethane solutions to the automobile industry. Now polyurethane is a very, very positive, or is the critical things where you have the sturdiness, you replace the metal parts with the polymer, and you have the lightweight also. And that is the you being an auto expert, that to have the fuel efficiency and all that. And that company also has a top line of 300 crore. That means top line of 600 crore, TVS Group company available to you at a market cap of 200 crore. No debt, 5 plants, as I said, that probably they may go for one more plant since they have exited. About 69% stake is held by promoters. And if you really see the performance going forward, as I said, 14-15 rupees is the EPS on a standalone basis of this company. Add maybe about 5 to 6 rupees EPS of 50%, because that's also very profitable company, Haritha Ferrer, which I said as a polyurethane providing this one. The company will have an EPS of closer to 18 to 20 rupees. Yesterday they've declared 25% dividend also.
So this company is a subsidiary of Haritha Ferrer?
No, Haritha Seating is the holding company of Haritha Ferrer.
Okay.
Haritha Seating is having 5 plants independently providing the seats to all buses and all that, and Haritha Seating is the holding company of Haritha Ferrer, holding 51%. So I said 14 rupees EPS will come from the Haritha Seating standalone operation. Add maybe 6 rupees, being 50%, because I am presuming 11-12 rupees, because that has been the EPS of that subsidiary for FY15. So on overall 18 to 20 rupees, I am knocking off the exceptional gain which they have made in this. Overall they can post an EPS of anywhere between 17, 18 to 20 rupees. And a TVS Group company available, it's a very small company, debt free, but 70%. So I see tremendous growth potential going forward, and maybe a price of 400 rupees can be expected in next 6 months or so, which is giving you roughly about maybe 60% of the gain from here on in 6 months also.
Actually, in the last 6 months also it has risen from about 150, 160 rupees to 270.
Lata, maybe in 2-3 years this can be be a multi-bagger, maybe 600, 700, because this has not come in the limelight. And as you have said that, in spite of such a big run-up, I see, because the strategic decisions of the management have been very swift and, practical. As I said that they've exited from the HP plant, they've curtailed the losses of 1 crore on an annualized basis, plus, realizing the amount of about 8 to 10 crores.
Okay. Prakash, since this is a subject of after your own heart.
I know. So the big upside there could also be, the trigger is they have already started applying to the railways to get into the seating for all these Shatabdis and the Chaikas. If that happens, because there's this huge replacement market waiting for that to happen, and they have qualified for the first level, but in railways you need to spend a few years to kind of get that scale of order. So I'm sure Sir knows about that as well, because that's a huge segment that they could quickly move into, apart from the auto this thing. So if you travel between Pune and Bombay, all those Volvo buses, those are fitted with Aditya seats.
I could see Prakash itching to talk about the stocks, because this is a sector that he loves so much.
Absolutely. Well, actually, let me, I just wanted to complete the argument with Shubham. Shubham, you spoke about 7980 as a support for the Nifty. What about the Bank Nifty? Is it showing any better performance? Yesterday it outperformed the Nifty.
Right, but if you look at the overall movement in Bank Nifty, it was underperforming the Nifty, and we did see a temporary consolidation happening around 18,000. The medium term resistance is still far away, which is at 18,200, but we saw a breakdown happening there. So we believe that 17,000 seems to be the immediate level to go and track. So unless and until that is broken down, we are not really keen on taking an immediate sell call there. But we believe that that should happen with a time frame of 1 to 1.5 week, where we'll see that Bank Nifty might start falling below that. So given the fact that medium term charts are not very convincing, I would not actually go and take a trade there, but just a few levels. If someone wants to trade, I think 17,000, that's a very important support if someone is long, and once the Bank Nifty slides below that, then it would be a call to go and sell that with maybe a stop loss of 400 to 500 points.
Okay, in fact, the PSU banking space was the one that led the revival yesterday. So let's get Siddharth Bhamre into this discussion. Siddharth, you have a buy on PNB this morning. What kind of targets are you looking at? And is it only PNB, or can someone also buy, names like Bank of Baroda, SBI, etc.?
Good morning, Sonia. We are, optimistic on some of the PSU names, but this is purely from very short-term perspective. As you pointed out, there has been, good traction seen in some of the PSU names like OBC yesterday. What we have observed in PNB is that around 130, 135, this stock has very strong support. It has, breached that support and slightly gone below that, around 128, 129. I think this is a wonderful level for a short-term trader to go long in this stock. We don't have very aggressive price target because we are not expecting a sustainable upside move. But 139 is what I am looking for. So if one fixed stop loss of 123, this is a good risk reward ratio trade for going long from a very short term perspective. Also, the other names which we are liking in PSU space, but we are not generating trade, there is Union Bank. SBI may show some upside, but keep eye on Union Bank as well.
Okay, that's useful. In fact, Shubham, OBC and Indian Bank, they had standout performances or at least unexpectedly good performance on their asset quality front. What are the charts telling you after a 6 and 8% gain in those stocks?
Yeah, I think OBC is the only one which is, slightly placed better on the chart, because if you look at the movement, 118, 120 was an important support from where we have already seen a rebound. And post that, the movement that has happened yesterday is again encouraging. So I think for a short-term trader, it is prudent to take a call there with a stop loss at around roughly 132, 131 is the immediate support that we see now. So that can be taken as a stop loss, and on the upside, we believe that the potential is up to 160 till where the stock can move up on a short-term scale.
Okay, on your list, you have a buy on Bosch this morning. What kind of a target are you looking at there?
Yes, so that's again revival that we are seeing in BOS. So after a temporary correction yesterday, we have seen a doji getting formed, which is indicating that within this overall uptrend, the temporary pullback that was there under action is already done. So I think a good level to again go and accumulate BOS. So 23,000 is the target that we are looking for in BOS, and 19,500 can be kept as a stop loss.
Fair enough. Let me finish off the banking stocks. Siddharth, HDFC Bank.
Yeah, so we had a mixed set of results. Axis Bank not doing so well. ICICI Bank did better than probably what people were thinking of. But then we didn't see people piling up on ICICI Bank because of not so bad results. We didn't see significant formation of long positions. At the same time, last week we were mentioning that two heavyweights of this market, HDFC Limited and HDFC Bank, has seen huge volumes last week, and this was more on the sell side. Last week we generated sell con on HDFC Limited Tuesday itself, and that has come down significantly. I'm not saying that even HDFC Bank would come down that much, but what we have seen is that HDFC Bank has a lot of long positions. We are seeing that how FIs are talking about being underweight in India and China. We are also seeing some selling coming from FIs in cash market segment, which certainly suggests that even HDFC Bank may not be spared. And stock is looking bit weak as the correction has set in from the higher levels. Again, here not very aggressive targets, but I'm expecting stock to come probably down to 1020, 1025 odd levels. One can fix stop loss somewhere around 1115 and go short over here.
Okay, so that's the call coming in on HDFC Bank. Take a short call. Prakash, you've picked up a stock for us, Steel Strip Wheels. This is, a manufacturer of wheel rims.
That's
has been in the industry for so many years. What's the fresh trigger there?
Yeah, so actually the market is becoming very strongly bipolar now. So you have the TVS Group company, which is Wheels India, which has been always there as a market leader, and SSWL has kind of gradually climbed up the charts with more and more orders from OEMs, particularly global play. What I like about this company is, though it's been around for almost 30 years now, it's in the last 5 years that they have started introducing a lot of high technology variants, because otherwise it's a very boring industry. You just make out these rims and churn them in huge numbers, in millions actually. So like their capacity currently is about 16.5 million. They're ramping it to 18 million, which is not a big deal. But where things could be different is they've tied up with a company called Kelink, which is from South Korea, and this is a company that specializes in making alloy wheel rims. So if you see most of the launches now, you actually get alloy wheel rims by default. I mean, it's part of the design. It's no more like an accessory that you need to change to. Earlier, you had to put in that after you bought the vehicle and stuff. So these are now coming along with the original cars that you get, passenger cars. So alloy wheels is going to be a big thing. The Koreans have invested money into this in a plant in Gujarat, whereas this company hasn't put in any money. They're going to only come in with their distribution and marketing strength. And once that scales up, they've got a huge aftermarket waiting for them in Europe, particularly because the European suppliers have all gone out. So that's a market that is up for the taking, and SSWL is looking at that. They've also announced capacity expansion after a long time. 100 crores is what they've decided to raise through a QIP, and 60% of their cost is raw material, and that itself in the last 6 months has been so helpful that they've managed very decent margins. In fact, I feel they've underreported margins. I don't know how to figure that out, but they've had a luxury of very soft input costs. They've grown about 28% this quarter itself in a tight market. So its book value is 277, 275, where it is available at, I don't know what, 320, 325. So it's a great company, available at 11 times PE trailing basis. You don't get these kind of plays which are so strong on the product side. So I think it'll probably get re-rated once things look up. But the caveat is, I think mid-caps will see a little bit of correction in this month and a half. There's a lot of meltdown that I expect to happen. Some of the quality stocks might not get the drubbing that you expect, but you would always buy these at softer levels also.
Fair point. We can, time permitting, we'll belabor that point a little more, Prakash. Shubham, well, I wanted to come back to you on the ingredients of the Nifty which will take it to 8250. Actually, other than a buy on Bosch, which has minimal weight on the Nifty, you don't have a buy in any other Nifty stocks?
Yes, so the move that we are expecting, is very short term in nature, and generally in this kind of a movement where, it's very temporary in nature, we do see that, most of the stocks which are there in a downtrend just sees a temporary pullback. So I think maybe a stock like L&T, which has seen a significant correction and now is quoting around the important level of around 1380 to 1400. So I think stock like these might have a pullback of another 3-4%, 5% from here, which can lead the overall market to move towards the level of 80 to 50. But then I would make it very clear that it's very temporary move that we are expecting, and post this temporary phase is done, I think Nifty might move for retesting some lower levels.
Okay, that's a lot of trading ideas in about 15 minutes. So we'll let you gentlemen take a break for just a while. In the meantime, let's hear out some trading ideas in our segment Super 6.
My first call is about Tata Chemicals Limited. 405 has been acting as a good support on the stock, which was not broken in today's trading session. It formed a bullish candle pattern at that level. This calls for a buy on Tata Chemicals with a stop of 405 for a target of 432.
My first buy call is on Apollo Hospitals. The stock has recently observed a sharp decline from its recent peak of 1500, and the prices recently has tested its long-term moving averages close to the levels of 1300 to 1320 on the lower side. At the current levels, the stock is a buy on dips approach with a stop loss of 1310, and we expect an upside target of 1420.
First one is on ACC Futures. This stock had given a good breakout from a falling wedge pattern after taking support at the multi-month lows. The indicators on the daily and the weekly charts are well into the buy mode, and the hourly indicators have also again come into the buy mode. We can see the levels of around 1480 on the upside, which is a near-term target in ACC, and one can place a stop loss at around 1367 levels.
The second call is a buy on Bharat Petroleum Company Limited. The recent decline has made it a low of 866, which is a rising gap in daily charts. Volumes have been good in yesterday's trading session. Therefore, a buy on BPCL with a stop of 866 for a target of 910.
My second call is on HDIL. The stock recently has reached its rising trend line drawn from its recent lows, which has confirmed the short-term reversal formation. Recently, the fall has also accompanied by above average volumes, which suggests that 72 is a short-term high, and we recommend a sell with a stop loss of 73 and expect lower targets of 66.
Second buy call is on Eicher Motors. Next 5-year rise have already started, and the minimum equality target comes to around 19,200-300 levels on the upside. But on the immediate basis, I think that the stock will retest its previous swing high, which comes to around 19,000 levels. Hence, one can buy Eicher Motor futures for target of 19,000 with a stop loss of 17,650 levels.
Okay, those are some ideas, but we have plenty more from our guests, so we'll just continue that chat with them. Okay, we'll continue the chat with our guests. Mr. Tulsian, you've picked up a very good, nice stock for us, Capital First. What's the trigger there?
See, Sonia, in fact, if you really see this company, since this Warburg Pincus have taken the stake, and the Vedi has come as a person in running the show, the company has, in fact, totally transformed in this last 4 or 5 years, and they are now totally focusing on MSME and retail, with 84% of their lending to these two things. So obviously, you have a very lower NPA. Again, maybe 20 basis point of lower net NPA. And if you really see the book, the lending book has grown in this by about 20% in this last 6 months. From 9,000 crore, it is now to 10,800 crore. If I take a sequential call, the net interest income has increased by about 11%. Sub 200 crore in Q1, risen to about 222 crore. And because of that, increase in the net interest income by about 11%, the bottom line has increased by about 25%, 23-24%, from an EPS of 3.64 to 4 rupees 50 paisa for Q2 on a sequential basis I'm referring. So going forward, again, price to book of less than 2, closer to, in fact, I'm taking the historic book value as on 30 September at 180, and now it is ruling at 360. Probably, I think this is the cheapest if you compare with any other NBFC, whether you have 7-8 NBFCs available in this space. So this is again quite cheap. And in fact, if you see the stock behavior, it has not really moved in this last maybe 3-4 months. Maybe Q1 results was not very cheerful to the market, or is not pleased. But I think now it has well consolidated, and now it has come on a takeoff stage. And I think that going forward, the kind of growth which we have been expecting to see in the company, you know, one can expect a price of about maybe 450 in next 6 months or so. Because again, if you see the presence also, they have a presence in 225 towns with employee strength of more than 1,000 plus. So they have a very good, and they don't need to expand the network. They just have to increase the book size, or maybe the lending ticket size to each borrower, and that's the advantage. So I see a price of 450 rupees in 6 months. Maybe one can look for a price of 300, 400 as well in next couple of months as well.
I believe from the market that they're also using a lot of analytics lately. So even though they have a MSME and SME book, because they're using analytics very intelligently, they have a better control over or better knowledge of the creditworthiness of their borrowers, which is why, you know, despite what you would call a risky book, it's very low NPLs. I mean, a very praiseworthy word for the way in which they do their diligence. We'll take a break on that note. We've got lots of trading ideas and investment ideas coming your way in a minute.
Hi, welcome back to the show. Well, let's just take one look at what the SGX Nifty is suggesting for today. As we mentioned, the global cues are quite strong, and the SGX Nifty is also indicating that you know, the start will be on the upside. So let's quickly get some more trading ideas in. Shubham, you have a couple of sell calls that you were talking about. One of them is on HDIL. Is it only HDIL, or are there any other real estate stocks that are worth selling as well?
Yes, so SDIL, if you look at the price pattern, you know, we all know that the long-term setup is still negative. And on the short-term scale, after consolidation, we did see that, you know, the important support that was there around the level of 73 has already been taken out. So we expect that this sell-off that we are seeing there should continue. And overall, we expect the target of 58 to be seen in a time frame of 2 to 3 weeks. And a stop loss for the sell call can be kept at 76.5. If you talk about other real estate names, you know, we have to be very choosy about that, because, you know, we are seeing a temporary pullback happening in a few stocks like DLF. And, you know, even if you look at the chart pattern of India Bulls real estate, you know, that is quoting around the level of support. So I think we would just be choosy on HDIL, and we would take a sell call there, and we should wait for other real estate or maybe the overall sector as a whole to fall. So I think SDIL is the specific trade for now.
Okay, there's still a minute for pre-open, so why don't you take us through your Siemens sell as well?
Right, so if we look at the overall sectoral behavior, you know, there is underperformance that we are witnessing from there, and, you know, some of the sector models that we follow, where we track the relative performance compared to the Nifty and all other sectors comparative, that is indicating that about 8 to 10% more correction is what we expect on the capital goods space. So with that view, we have seen a breakdown happening on Siemens from the level of around 1390 to 1400, and it has already retested that level, which was the maximum area of a pullback expectation for Siemens, and from there again the short-term charts have started turning negative. So I think 1185 is what we can expect in a time frame of 3 to 4 weeks, and stop loss for the same can be kept at 1390.
All right, thanks for that. We'll just wait for the pre-opening rates and then come back to you for more strategies. Okay, it's only a mild green tick at this point in time, both on the Sensex and the Nifty. Okay, Sensex climbing a little faster. Let's see things. Okay, unchanged. I think it'll just take a little bit of time to warm up, but today it does look like after 6 days of fall, the global cues could push both the Sensex and the Nifty up at least at the opening levels, and then of course things will depend on how the news flow is. Actually, not too much by way of very big results today. There are a lot of results, but not really game-changing results other than Tech Mahindra, which is on the Nifty. Otherwise, you've okay, you have DLF, which is an ex-Nifty stock, but otherwise a bunch of stocks which may not change the course of the market. Rupee is opened marginally stronger. It had gone all the way to 65.56 yesterday. Today the dollar costs a few pice less. That's all, but that's a largely flat opening that we have for the dollar rupee. Let's get back to the stock markets. Now it's a fairly stronger opening. The Nifty is up about 0.8%, okay, 0.5% at this juncture. Still we have to wait and see whether we should let the markets settle down a bit before we start reading at this point in time. Not too many. Tata Steel is open 1.6 higher, and HDFC Bank 1.5 higher, Axis 1.5 percentage points higher, as is Bank of Baroda. So looks like the banking stocks are in the green, but very early moments. We'll come back, but before that, let's give you our favorite earnings Pataka segment. Just to remind you, this earnings season we are getting you companies that are missed out by the market because they are small and not very much in the news, but they have rendered outstanding performance for 2 quarters in a row. Varinder Bansal does the seeding and the selection for us. Varinder, what do you have for us today?
Well, I have a company by the name of Subex. You know, this quarter was really a turnaround for this company. Look at these numbers coming for this company for quarter 2. A net profit of 15.6 crores compared to a loss of 4.7 crores. Total income was up 8.5% for this company on a sequential basis. Never seen this kind of income moving up for Subex for a long time. The company reported a positive EBITDA of nearly 19.4 crores compared to an EBITDA loss of 1.4 crores, and hence the EBITDA margins on a consolidated basis was 24.3% versus a negative EBITDA margin earlier. So not only the income growth of that 8.2% helped the company, but also the consolidated expenses this time were down 19%. The market cap is around 280 crores. So for the first half, they have done a profit of 10.5 crores. So it's not a cheap stock, but the numbers which are coming are really a turnaround. The most important thing, of course, as everyone says, to watch out in Subex is the outstanding FCCB, the debt of the company. But it was good to see that in the balance sheet, the long-term debt has come down to 408 crores in September 2015 compared to 525. So it has gone down by nearly 120 crores. The total receivables also has gone down, which is good thing, to 364 crores compared to 530 crores in March 2015. The problem for this company started in 2012 when they had an outstanding FCCB of nearly $91 million. In the last year, they have converted nearly 30 million FCCB, and in the last quarter itself, nearly 15 million FCCB has been converted. So keep a close eye on what happens with the FCCB, because it's a large amount, still 400 crores outstanding. So that could be crucial to watch out for for this company. But if you're looking at the numbers, clearly a turnaround seen in quarter 2 for Subex.
All right, Varinder, thanks for that. So that's earnings Pataka from our very own research Pataka, Varinder Bansal. But let's point out a couple of stocks that are looking quite good in pre-opening. One of them is United Spirits. Good set of numbers coming in. Margins have expanded quite a bit, and that stock is up 3% in pre-opening. So looking good over there. Nilkamal had a profit jump of 3.5 times this time around at close to 26 odd crores, and big margin boost as well. So Nilkamal is looking quite strong. TVS Motor reported a healthy double-digit sales growth in the the month of October. So TVS Motors on the upside, and Amtech Auto, they have now informed the exchanges that they've appointed Morgan Stanley as advisors for their group debt reduction plan, and they're looking to sell about 25 to 40% in their overseas business. So Amtech Auto is up almost about 6% or so. Mr. Tulsian, you've been tracking Amtech Auto closely. As a long-term investor, what do you do with the stock?
See, I think, Sonia, what I feel that all the negatives seen have been factored into the price, and in fact, I'm very enthused with this statement that yes, they have taken a serious steps now. And the best part is that stock is now out of F&O, so only the investors can play in this stock. Yes. And if you really see, if you read the statement, they have said that they are looking to divest 25% to 40% in those overseas subsidiaries which have a very strong buyers on an outright basis at a very hefty valuations. Yes. That is what they have said. That means they are not willing to, but I think the situations or maybe the lenders will prevail upon them maybe to exit totally. They can't, just divest part of their stake. They need to get out, and that is what they have been talking, in case of 1 or 2 units, also in case of Tech4 and all that, where they are looking to mobilize about 3,500 crore. So on a debt of 17,000 crore, they have in fact at one time indicated that the monetization scope is to the extent of $2 billion. Sometimes I wonder if you can monetize that kind of amount, then what is the problem with the company? You have 3 or 4 subsidiaries also. So I'm quite hopeful that the serious steps will be taken by the company, maybe at the behest of the lenders or maybe of their own, to bring back the company on track. It is a matter of time, but in next 3 to 6 months, I think one can look for a dramatic turnaround on the debt reduction plan, which will eventually get translated into the stock price.
Okay, actually one of the top performers today in the mid-cap space is Harita Seating. It's up 17% at this juncture, and following it is Subex, which is up 9.3%. All right, let's get a few more technical ideas from our experts. Shubham, your final sell, which we didn't discuss, was HPCL.
Yes, so if you look at the price chart of HPCL, it has been a prolonged consolidation there, and for the past almost 2 months, we have seen that the level of around 740, 750 is getting respected. Now on the longer term chart, we believe that the stock still has a secular uptrend, and this consolidation is again temporary. So the pattern seems to be very mature, and on the short term chart, we have seen that the momentum indicators have started to rise, which gives us more confidence that in the near term we'll see the stock reviving again. So 870 is what we are expecting on the short term to medium term scale, and 740, as we have seen, is a very important support now, so that can be kept as a stop loss for this long trade.
All right, Siddharth, you have a couple of buys for us, and what's staring in the face is actually Tech Mahindra. It had a strong performance yesterday, results due today. You can still go on buying?
I guess so, Lata. We all remember how last quarterly results, people were disappointed and stock literally crashed, and hence the management gave somewhat negative or cautious stance for the coming quarters. So the expectations from Tech Mahindra is not very great, and we are seeing some kind of positions getting built up in this counter. On price movement perspective, we are seeing some upside traction, some formation of long positions. I think irrespective of I don't think so we would have same kind of results what we saw last quarter, but I'm expecting stock to move prior to results and probably after results also on the upside. Again, we don't have very aggressive target here. We are liking other names also in this sector like TCS. We're also liking Wipro at current levels of 570, 575. But predominantly from a very short term perspective, Tech Mahindra has a better chance of giving fast returns. So 576 is what I'm expecting, and fix a stop somewhere around 539.
Okay, fine. So that's the word coming in on Tech Mahindra. Talking about the IT space, Geometric should also come up for you. Remember, the company had reported its highest ever quarterly profits this quarter, and the profits went up 20% to 23 odd crores. Geometric Software, I guess, should be on the upside. Yes, there it is, up almost about 1% or so. And a couple of other names. Jet Airways, after an 8% up move yesterday, continues to find favor with traders and investors alike. So Jet Airways is up another 1% or so. Prakash, from the mid-cap IT space, do you have any picks? Because this quarter has been a decent quarter for many companies.
Yeah, so I think we've started seeing some new names add to that list. Traditionally, you had the e-clerks and the intellectual design guys, always are being on the radar. But now you have NIT Tech, NIT, both NIT twins. They've done some very stellar this thing. My sense is this is one space where, of course, our top pick in that space. Let me complete this. Remains Tata Elxsi. At any low levels, you just kind of grab it with both hands. But these are resilient stocks which don't see any kind of a shake off even in a meltdown. But what's going to happen is every small company or mid-sized IT company is now sticking to its knitting in terms of a USP and one area. Now don't want to be into all the things that traditionally have been attracting people. So Mindtree did that. Now it's consolidated focus again on the product side. So you will see that trend happen. So whichever company does it successfully and quickly, you could really buy into it, and that's where you'll see a re-rating happen for some of these players. Hexaware has gone through that. Tata Elxsi is already established as a leader in animation, digitization. So you will have to stick to these stories rather than go into. So the ones that are waiting to happen is FSL, in one stock that I can name, but I don't have a recommendation as yet, but I can tell you this is also going to go through a similar phase of consolidating into one focused area rather than be everywhere.
All right. Well, e-clerks also turned in a good performance. Numbers came in yesterday. Let's give you some more trading ideas. On Bullseye this week, Rakesh Bansal, Vishal Malkan and Krish Subramaniam are battling it out for their strongest portfolio. Let's hear out their picks for today.
My first call is a buy call on Jet Airways. Buy Jet Airways. Stop loss 412, target 490. My second call is a sell call on HDIL. Sell HDIL. Stop loss 77.80, target 63.50. My third call is a buy call on TVS Motor. Buy TVS Motor. Stop loss 261, target 293. My last call is a buy call on RCom. Buy RCom. Stop loss 75.50, target 90.
My 4 picks for today are Century Textile, buy with a stop of 530 for targets of 565. Jubilant Life Science, buy with a stop of 410 for targets of 470. NIIT Limited, buy with a stop of 91 for targets of 100. And Dish TV, buy with a stop of 101 for targets of 112.
My first recommendation is buy on Inox Leisure for target price of 235 and a stop loss of 219. Second recommendation is buy on TV Today for a target price of 250 and a stop loss of 232. Third recommendation is buy on Granules India for a target price of 158 and a stop loss of 144. My last recommendation is buy on JP Associates. This could be bought with a possible target of 14. We are recommending a stop loss of 1250.
Alright, so those are some recommendations coming in from our experts, but the pre-opening levels have settled higher by almost about 0.5%, and you do have some of these metal names that are climbing up higher. So Tata Steel, Hindalco, etc. are looking good. But I guess another day in a row, the space to watch out for would be the PSU banking space, because yesterday, after the numbers that we got from the likes of Indian Bank, where we did see largely stable asset quality this time around, and even OBC, where the NII growth was quite good of around 11%, we've seen some traction return into even the bigger names like SBI, PNB, etc. that are looking quite good. But let's thank Mr. Tulsian and Prakash Diwan for joining us and taking us through all of their recommendations. Siddharth, just wanted to get you in on some of the PSU banking names. How would you move on something like an SBI now? At this 240 level, how does the risk reward look for a trader?
As we were talking about PSU space, where we clearly mentioned that PNB and Union Bank would be preferred space, and we have trade on PNB. At the same time, we are liking some other names which have not corrected very significantly, like Bank of Baroda also. SBI, yes, it is near to a very strong support of around 230, 235. Bounce back can take this counter to 248 odd levels, but we are not getting that compelling statistics where we would suggest that SBI is also a strong buy at this point of time. Again, the names which we mentioned in PSU space, this we are talking from very short term perspective, as Nifty is not looking that very positive from a medium term perspective.
Okay. A final question to you on the banks, Shubham. Any standout performance in private sector or public sector?
Actually, it's a mixed view that we have, if we decompose the banking names. So if we talk about ICICI Bank, that looks positive, and there could be, a temporary turn up for the level of 300. Whereas on the other side, if we see SDFC Bank is showing some sign of a correction, and most of the PSU banks is there just in a pullback, temporary pullback mode, but the longer term trend remains down. So I think it would be difficult to take a call at this point of time, what exactly to do, because it's just a temporary bounce that we are witnessing in most of the stock. So I think if I have to buy something in banking, I would just stick to ICICI Bank for a target of 300.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us with your thoughts this morning. The markets have opened in the green, or at least are most likely to open in the green, going by the pre-opening rates. And it's commodity stocks as well that are leading the market higher at this point in time, Tata Steel and Hindalco. Markets likely to open very close to the 8,100 mark. Okay, there goes the bell, 8087. That's very much like the pre-opening rates indicated. And who are the big gainers at this point in time? Largely the commodity stocks. Hindalco is up at about 3% higher. Among others, Vedanta is up about 1.3% higher. Bosch is doing well. That one is up about 0.8. SBI is up 0.8. PNB is up 0.8. Bank of Baroda is up 0.7. So clearly the PSU banks have captured the market's imagination after the fairly decent performance put in by Oriental Bank of Commerce and Indian Bank. So they are the big gainers. Tech Mahindra continues to rally 1% higher. Adani Ports, decent numbers there. That one is also up 1.2% thereabouts. Infosys is up about 0.9. Tata Power is up as well, about 0.5%, 0.6. NTPC 0.6. Axis now joins the list of PSU banks in the green terrain. Now 0.6 up on Axis Bank. That's the set of green stocks. Kotak Mahindra as well, 0.4 up. So most of the bank stocks in the green, both private sector and public sector. Among others, M&M and Maruti Suzuki are indicating a green tick of about 1/3%. Coal India continues to rally higher. Actually, the number of red stocks are very few, just 5 out of 50 on the Nifty. So that's GAIL down about 1/3%, not much. ONGC flat, ITC flat, HCL Tech flat. There are hardly any red stocks, you will have to say. They are either flat or they are in the green. And the Bank Nifty is the one that's charging ahead. Okay, actually neck and neck with the Nifty, up about 0.4. Midcap's doing a shade better, 0.5% higher, Sonia.
Yes, in fact, there are plenty of mid-cap stocks that are looking quite good. So let's just take you through them. United Spirits is reacting to a good set of numbers. So that stock is actually up now almost 5%, and that's a high-ticket stock, 3,400 rupees. But straight off the back, it's a 150 rupee up move because of the good margin improvement that we've seen for United Spirits this time around. So that's the stock of the moment. Apart from that, Nilkamal is looking quite good as well. The profits have more than tripled this time around. So Nilkamal is up almost about 3.7%. Remember, it was featured in our segment Midcap Mania when it was at about 500 rupees, and look where it's come since then. Apart from that, TVS Motor, good numbers for the month of October, double-digit growth over there. So that stock is up almost about 3% odd. You have Geometric Software, where the profits have gone up 20% for the company. So that stock is up 1.5% odd. SML Isuzu, which is the commercial vehicle manufacturer, has seen a 41% growth in its October sales to 784 units. So SML Isuzu is also in the green, up almost about 3%. eClerx is trading in the green. That's because the margins for eClerx have improved quite a bit on a quarter-on-quarter basis at 37% versus 33%. So that's a very good margin improvement. eClerx up almost about 4% odd. Brigade Enterprises, despite a fall in the revenues this quarter and despite higher interest costs, the margins for Brigade have improved, and that's something that perhaps the street likes, up almost about 3.5%. Amtech Auto has appointed Morgan Stanley as advisors for the group's debt reduction plan. So Amtech Auto is up almost about 4% odd or so. Capital First, which was Mr. Tulsian's stock recommendation, is also up almost 5% odd. So that's looking good too. So these are the list of movers. CARE is up almost 4% odd, post its numbers as well.
Subex and Eros, Sonia.
Absolutely, Subex is the standout performer.
Yes, Subex is up 8% and Eros is up 5%. That was also the stock where the parent company stock was up yesterday, so that's also doing quite well in trade.
Okay, so actually a couple of stocks that we discussed. Harita is up 17%, Subex is up about 8%, and United Spirits again standout performer, 4% higher. Anuj, your first thoughts? I mean, it was expected to turn around today. Global cues were positive. It is the 7th day, as you pointed out. Will Nifty have legs up till 8250?
Yeah, that will be the big question, Lata, right? I mean, but as of now, the thesis is that this is a weak market where, you know, traders would use rallies to sell. Yesterday, of course, you know, a lot of profit booking would also have been there from the short traders, and they would now look, they'll have a lot of ammunition, they'll look to enter. I think maybe if the Nifty goes around 8100, you might see fresh entry of shorts, because in any case it looks like after having given up that mark of 8182, 8200 effortlessly, that becomes your new peak for the market. So the sense you get is that at higher levels they would be selling.
Okay, any specific area would be singled out? Do you think the Bank Nifty comes in for a slightly better performance because of the PSU Bank performance?
Yeah, you know, the Bank Nifty, the problem with the Bank Nifty is it's hostage to two stocks, ICICI Bank and HDFC Bank. It's designed in such a way that, you know, 60% of the weight is because of these two stocks. So even if the entire PSU gamut does well, and if one or of these two stocks does not do well, then the Bank Nifty has problems. So, you know, that's why even if PSU stocks rally, I don't know if that will have much impact on the Bank Nifty itself.
Okay, a couple of more stocks to watch out for. Dishman Pharma has hit a fresh record high today. In fact, that stock has now given you what, about 200% returns in this year itself. So Dishman Pharma is a stock to look at. And Naveen Fluorine as well. It was one of our earnings Pataka stock. That stock has been hitting fresh highs every day. So Naveen Fluorine too is a stock that's moving with quite a bit of strength this morning. Apart from that, Harita Seatings, as Lata was pointing out, 17% higher now for that stock. In case this is new to you, it's a TVS Group company. It provides seatings to commercial vehicles, tractor makers, etc. Reported its numbers post market hours yesterday, and very good numbers. The profits have doubled for the company to 4.4 crores versus 2.2 crores same time last year. So that's one of the Mr. Tulsian's recommendations, doing very well. But here's a quick recap of Shubham Agarwal stocks for today. He has 3 sell calls. First one is on HPCL, which carries a target of 870 and a stop loss of 740, as well as on Siemens, where he recommends a target of 1185 and a stop loss of 1390. He also shorts HDIL, where he places the target at 58 and a stop loss at 76.5. His only long call is on Bosch, where he sees a target of 23,000 and a stop loss at 19,500.
Okay, and now is a recap of Siddharth Bhamre stocks. He has 3 buy calls, starting with PNB, which carries a target of 139, stop loss 124, a buy on Tech Mahindra as well. He sets a target of 576 and the stop loss at 539. And finally, Siddharth has a buy call on Relcom. He recommends buying it with a target of 92 rupees and a stop loss at 75. His only short call is on HDFC Bank. The target is 1023 and the stop loss is 1115. Okay, so that's the way in which the trading strategies are lined up for you. Just wanted to point out AB Money.